Hi everyone, and welcome to Brunel University London. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Manny and I work for the marketing department at Brunel. I hope you and your family are keeping well during these tricky times, and I'd like to reassure you that we are operating as normal as possible here at Brunel, albeit from a virtual environment for the time being. So I will shortly hand you over to our academic presenter, Dr Goudarz, who will carry out a presentation on the business school's undergraduate programs, which will give you a complete overview of the courses. You'll also have the opportunity to speak to any academic state or any course-related questions that you might have. And we also have Gaif from our international recruitment team in attendance, who's able to field any questions you may have regarding the international application process. If you do have any questions today, please do just type them into the questions box and we'll answer them once the presentation is finished. So without further ado, I'll now pass you on to Dr Goudarz, who will carry out a presentation on studying the business school's undergraduate programs at Brunel University London. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Manny. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning to some, good evening to others. My name is Dr Goudarz Azar. I'm the admissions director of the Brunel Business School. Today with me, I have Dr Sharifa Alvi, our Director of Undergraduate Studies, and Ms. Michelle Caban, our Director of Placement. As Manny mentioned, during the next 20 minutes, half an hour, we're going to give an overview of our business and management program and the opportunities alongside your studies, including placement opportunities. But more importantly, we want to let you know why Brunel Business School is the best place to study business and management. Brunel Business School is part of the College of Business, Arts and Social Sciences, the largest college at Brunel University London. We are one of the most internationally and gender diverse business schools with more than 70 academic staff and a supporting administrative structure, all dedicated to support your learning and teaching. We are very proud to be a research intensive business school with multiple projects funded by the UK, European and international bodies and private sector companies. That means that our teaching is relying on first-hand research findings conducted by top scholars. In addition to our undergraduate program, we also run programs at the master, MBA and PhD programs. Again, that means that after your undergraduate, you have the opportunity to study the next level to master and maybe a PhD, everything at the same place. An indication to the quality in our teaching is the number of accreditations that the business school has been awarded through the years. We are accredited by the Association to Advanced Collegiate Schools of Business, the one which only a handful of business schools around the world been awarded. Our AMBA program is, our MBA program is accredited by AMBA. And then we have a number of subject-specific accreditations. For instance, our marketing pathway is accredited by Chartered Institute of Marketing. Our accounting pathway is accredited by several bodies. For example, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, the Association of International Accountants, and Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy, to mention some. All our pathway also accredited by the Small Business Charter and also the UN's Principles for Responsible Management Education. I now hand over to my colleague, Dr. Sharifa Alvi, our undergraduate director, who gives you, again, more specific details about our pathways within business and management program.
Thank you very much, Goudarz. So, hello everyone, my name is Sharifa Alvi, and I am your, hopefully, if you choose to join us, will be your undergraduate director from the Brunel Business School. Okay. If you look into our BSc Honours Degree program, we have 6 programs from Business and Management General. And then we have the Marketing Pathway. And then you've got an Accounting Pathway, International Business Pathway, Entrepreneurship and Innovation, as well as Human Resource Management. And all of them will have an optional work placement year at the end of your year 2. Next slide. So as you can see the program structure, you will all be studying the same modules in your first year, right? And so you will be learning marketing, accounting, international business, general management, and all of these, you will be learning the same modules in the first year. The second year and the third year will be the modules which are pathway specific. So at the end of the first year, should you be joining, let's say, marketing route or marketing pathway, starting second year, you'll be specialized and taking more modules in marketing. And that will be the same for example, if you are choosing international business route or accounting. So at the end of the year 2, you will then, if you choose or you would like to do placement, you will be able to you will have the chance to do placement at the end of the second year. So work placement year is sandwiched between year 2 and year 3. And finally, you will be completing a final year project, and that will complete your degree. Hopefully, you will on the way to graduation. Right. As I mentioned earlier on, your module in year 1, you can see one of the module equals to 20 credits. So you will take 120 credits for all the modules, which is management, you have information technology, you've got marketing, you've got organizational behavior and analysis, accounting, as well as international business. And all of you will be doing the same module in the first year. And this is all core modules. This is the sample for second year, and this is where you're going to be more specific to your chosen pathway. So if you are doing marketing, you will have more specific module. And I would recommend you to go to our website for you to see a more detailed modules. This is just an example of how your module in year 2 looks like. And this is the example of how your year 3 modules look like. Going back to example of marketing, so you will have brand management, for example, your final year project, which is named as issue and controversies in marketing project, marketing communication and strategic marketing. So you can see for each of the modules to all the pathway, they are very specific, and you can compare that with accounting, international business. So this is where this is an example of the year 3 modules. Again, you can go to the website for detailed modules. Okay, now from the final year project to first job. So every year we have an exciting activities. So in order to complete the final year project, and how does your final year project, which is will have about 8,000 8,000 words to complete, how does that impact your first job? We invite the alumni or the final year year 3 who has recently graduated and secured a job to come back and share their experience, how to be successful doing the final year project, and how do they actually use that final year project to success in their interview for their first job. So this is one of the activities, and you can see there's 5 presenters there that were invited last year, and we're very excited that all of them have managed to explain how they have how the final year project helps them to secure the job. So this is a very important activity to help our current students to experience the real life information from your seniors. Next slide. And when we talk about final year project, it's more of a research base. And because, as my Dr. Goudarz explained earlier, that this is also led by research, your teaching is also informed by research. So we have several top scholars in the business school. So here, and they are all internationally acclaimed scholars. So for example, from your left, you have Professor Catherine, who are very specialized in entrepreneurship research. You've got Professor John Balmer next to Professor Catherine, who are specialized in marketing and branding. You've got Professor Jane Handy, who's specialized in management and healthcare. You've got Professor Shirin, who are very much in human resource and management. You've got Professor Habin, which is very much in terms of management and information system. And last but not least, you've got Professor David Gallier there, who are very experts in supply chain management and logistics, as well as operation. So it is very important for us that all our modules are taught by our research scholars, because research is a very important part of the business modules in our school. Okay, now let's move a bit forward in terms of how we can support you. So there's 3 categories here if you look at it. So first, we provide academic and pastoral support within the business school. So for example, you will have seminars on top of your lectures, your tutorials, seminar and tutorials. So this can help you further to understand what have been taught in the big lecture, for example. And then you will also be able to see your lecturer or your module leader, what we call module leader, who taught you the module in one-to-one time, where we call it during her or his office hours or academic visiting hours. So if there is anything that you're not sure what is being taught in the lecture, you're not clear and you have questions, you can make an appointment with them and to see them at their office hours, or you can ask even more questions during your seminar time. Okay, they deal with all academic matters that you might have. We also provide support in terms of pastoral care for you, and they are led by our student experience team and personal tutor. On top of that, we are very excited that Brunel Business School offer the academic skill service, or what is known as ASK. I'm going to give an example. You can see the services offered, for example, writing skills or critical thinking skills. These are the 2 most important skills which helps a lot of our students to understand how to write critically in their assignment. So once you've completed the coursework, you can make an appointment to see an academic in the ASK team, and they will be able to see you and look into your coursework, whether you are delivering not in terms of academic content, but in terms of your writing. Yeah, in terms of your writing, and whether you convey some of your sentence, whether you convey that critical thinking skill. Critical thinking is very important in any coursework of the teaching and assessment. And finally, we also have disability and dyslexia service. So a confidential service supporting many students, including those with learning difficulties, mental health difficulties, and medical condition will be supported. So we are very, mental health is very important when it comes to the university. So we do have a support system for you. Now, let's move on to the assessment and teaching. So assessment and feedback. So each subject is assessed either by a combination of continuous appraisal, examination, or by coursework or examination alone. They can be approximately 50-50% in exam. However, the ratio varies depending on the module you select, okay? Not every module will have 50% coursework and 50% exam. And finally, in your final year, you will undertake an assess project of around 8,000 words worth of third of your level 3 marks. And this is what I said earlier on, where we invite the previous student who graduated and work to share their experience. How do they do the final year projects, hopefully successfully? And how does this final year project help them in their interview, so that you can enhance yourself to be successful during the interview and get a job, your first job, graduate job. In terms of teaching and learning, we delivered through a combination of lectures, small group seminars, hands-on workshop, and one-to-one sessions with your tutor. You could also find varieties of like video, YouTubes, and several other online meetings that you can find during the delivery. Many of the lectures are internationally and nationally recognized for their innovative work and research, which results in this in challenging and stimulating course content. So next slide. Right, now these are what the previous student said about why they chosen us. Okay, so some of it is related to the course content. Yeah, and course content help increase our good reputations. Yeah, so again, if you look into several modules like brand management, digital marketing, that helps for some of the students to explain why they choose us. Another reason, because of the campus base itself. So we are a university with campus-based type, so you can find the shop, your accommodation, your lecture center, everything in one place. And I guess another reason why students chose us, because our location basically in London. So as you can see that one of the students talk about London location, and Brunel is ideal because it is the cheapest of the London University. And again, because you can access to the central London within 45 minutes, so we are not really far away from the central London itself. So we are still in London, but because of the 45 minutes, we are outskirted a bit in zone 6, for example, near to Heathrow, and it's slightly cheaper compared to when you are actually in the main central London itself. Okay, thank you very much. I'll now hand over to my colleague, Dr. Goudarz Azar, to explain about the entry requirement. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Dr. Alvi. Yes, as you could see, we have very exciting pathway, a program with many different routes that you can choose from: marketing, international business, accounting, entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth. And very importantly, we have a dedicated academic and administrative support system, again, to help your teaching and learning at all levels. But in order to get into our program, you need to meet our entry requirements. And these, in this slide, you can see the UK standards qualifications which are required for our business and management programs. Of course, if you have your qualifications from overseas, our admission seal will help you to find the equivalent of those qualifications. But very shortly, we require, for instance, at A levels, BBB. Or if you took another route, a more vocational route like BTech, we require DDD in business subject, and D stands for distinction. Or in terms of international baccalaureate, we require 30 points. But again, this information is for guidance only, and each application is assessed on a case-by-case basis. Probably it is relevant for some of you. If you require a Tier 4 visa to study in the UK, you must prove knowledge of the English language so that we can issue you a certificate of acceptance for study. As I mentioned in the beginning, alongside all our pathways, you have the opportunity to do a placement, and my colleague Michelle Caban will let you know more details about placement opportunities. Michelle, please.
Okay, well, hello to all of you out there. So I'm Michelle. I'm responsible for placement and employment outcomes. So you've just heard my colleagues explaining the academic structure of the course. So at Brunel, we pride ourselves in helping our students to gain meaningful employment after graduation. And if you come to Brunel, I hope you enroll for the placement degree, because it is really important that you gain some professional experience before you graduate. Well, you may have already heard this from other universities, but Brunel is unique in the sense that we started out as a placement university in 1966. I think before all of you were born. So all our degree programs have the placement option. And so over the last 50 years, we have developed strong links with industry, and many of these companies continue to recruit placement students from us every year. Can I move on to the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, you see from the screen that there are some images of our placement student. Now, the first one, you see the girl working at L'Oreal. She is in her final year. Actually, she's graduating next month. So she did a placement at L'Oreal, which is the head office at Hammersmith. She studied marketing, so she was their digital marketing executive. And the photo in the middle is a group of Brunel Business School students studying different pathways, but they were all at IBM in the same year, so I visited all of them. So the last photo was Lucy. She did her placement at Disney, also at Hammersmith. So here are just some examples of the kind of the employers you go to. So obviously there are many benefits of doing placement, but I've just highlighted the most obvious 5. Now the first one is obviously you put theory into practice. Now business management is quite a practical course. To give you an example, if you're studying accounting, you probably learn about the principles of accounting in the first year. But to be an accountant, you also need to learn use the different accounting software like Sage 50 for taxation, Xero, QuickBooks, for day-to-day, accounting transaction. So if you do a placement, you get to practice on this software probably every day for a year, and you're unlikely to forget when you graduate. Now, the second point is about work experience on your CV. So it is needless to say that when you send your CV for a job application, you need to have some tangible experience on your CV to actually give examples of what you have done. So doing a placement is obviously, good in this respect. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the third point, which is a higher graduate salary, because I believe I can explain that in the next slide. But again, networking, I'm not sure if you have heard of the phrase, and it is not what you know, it's who you know. So when you go out on placement, you get to meet students from other universities, because most of the big companies like IBM, they recruit placement students from all over the country. So it won't be just Brunel, so you'll be able to meet people from, other universities, and you can create a network. And what about your managers, your colleagues there, and sometimes even customers? And today with LinkedIn, you can really easily, keep in touch with these people. And I think the next slide will probably also show you, but in case it doesn't, over the years, data has proved that placement students are twice as likely to get a first-class degree and 2-1 than those students who didn't do a placement. So can I move on to the next slide? Thank you. You probably want to spend a couple of, well, not a minute, but maybe 10 seconds reading the information on this slide. So you see that you can see in the left column the different pathways, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there are only 5 because this slide is probably, we haven't added the latest pathway, which is HR. Now in the middle column, you see that students who have done a placement, they're more likely to get a job. And we actually gather this information 6 months after graduation. So you see that if you study business and management, 95% of the students have found a job 6 months after graduation versus 85%. And also the salary bit is the most interesting bit, because I suspect that you do a degree because you want to get a good job, a better job than others who didn't do a degree. So you see the salary difference. The extreme right, like for example, take management, for example, you earn 2,000 more than those who didn't do a placement. And for accounting, you earn 3,000 more than those who didn't do a placement, and the rest. So ultimately, if you have got work experience, it is you can command a higher salary than those students who haven't got any work experience. Okay, so can I move on to the next slide? So here are some examples of placement and graduate employers. Well, on this slide, you see big companies, the IBM, the Fujitsu and Canon and what have you. And British Airways is actually located in Heathrow. And Canon is, you probably don't know, is in Industrial Park, quite near to Brunel University, and Vodafone as well. So a lot of this company tend to recruit locally. So Brunel University is one of their local universities. But apart from these multinational companies, we also have the government departments like the NHS, the tax and audit and HM revenues on the slide. And also we have third sector companies like Oxfam and other NGO companies, if you're interested in that kind of work. So I think this is my last slide. Yes, but if you have any specific information about placement, what I can do is I can put my email address in the chat function so that you can contact me directly. So now I'm going to pass you back on to the admission director.
Thanks very much, Michelle. Very helpful, and definitely that's the opportunity that no one should miss alongside education. So just to wrap up our presentation, basically, we are living in very difficult circumstances at the moment with COVID-19 and all the rest. And so, for your information, Brunel has a dedicated COVID-19 portal which update all information frequently according to government's advice and recommendations. And we have a page of frequently asked questions. So Manny, do we have any questions, or shall we go through some of these questions, please?
We don't know. We don't have any questions yet.
Okay, so we can just, if you look at some of the questions, again, more related to current circumstances with COVID-19, and again, you can find this information in those links as well. Are we still accepting applications? Yes, we are continuing to accept applications as usual, again, regardless of your location. Some of you may be uncertain about your ability to sit your exams, or maybe your school, university is close to COVID-19. What should you do? Again, the general advice is that we are aware of these circumstances and the significant impact on many of our applicants' exam preparations and completion. We are monitoring this, but as the situation is changing so quickly, we are not yet able to confirm a specific process. I'm unable to book or take an English language test as the test centers are closed in my country. Again, as I mentioned earlier, one of the requirements to enter in our program for our international students is the English language requirements. So we accept a whole range of English language qualifications for entry to our programs. And again, we are monitoring the situation for affected locations as well. Here, there is a link that you can click on and see more details about our English language requirements. If we look at some other questions, has Brunel changed any of its term dates or schedule for September 2020 entry due to COVID-19? The answer is no. Currently, no changes have been made to our term dates or registration dates for the new academic year. But again, we are closely monitoring the situation and we try to be as flexible as possible if, for instance, your arrival is delayed due to coronavirus. What will happen if I'm unable to meet the conditions of my offer due to COVID-19? We do our best to be as flexible as possible for applicants who are affected by coronavirus, including those who have been forced to undertake their learning online or from home. But please, in the first instance, contact our admissions teams with details of your situation, including a statement from your school, college, or university, and we will advise you accordingly. And finally, are you still issuing confirmation of acceptance for studies to students who need a visa to study in the UK? Brunel University London has temporarily closed and teaching assessment at the moment are being delivered online. And for this reason, we have decided to temporarily stop issuing any confirmation of acceptance for studies to students overseas. But again, you can obviously contact us through many different ways, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, or email, or just using phone, and we are more than happy to answer any questions. I don't know if you have any questions at the moment.
We don't. If anyone has any questions, please do just pop them into the chat box and we'll get them answered.
And perhaps Manish and Goudarz, maybe we can direct the students to read the coronavirus portal update from time to time to give them about our information.
Yeah, so on the previous slide, there is a link to the coronavirus
Yeah, maybe we can just guide the student. They can, you know, yeah.
Yeah. So there's the link there at the bottom of the page. That's regularly updated with, you know, all the updated information as it's going on.
Thank you. Yeah, just in case if you have questions, you can go to this page. Yeah.
Just to add to that, actually, if you did have any further questions or queries, please do contact our admissions department by emailing admissions@brunel.ac.uk. That's admissions@brunel.ac.uk. Or alternatively, as we said, please just visit the brunel.ac.uk website. It's got a whole range of useful information that we regularly update. Yeah, I think we'll just give it a couple of minutes. If anyone's got any questions, please do just pop them on. Okay, we've got something from Zayed. If you have a disability, are you given a higher scholarship or more time with lecturers?
Sharifa, I think, is the best position to answer this question. Sharifa, please.
Yes, yeah. So we will link you with our disability center, and they will then be able to contact the academics in terms of what facility or things that you would need. And then we will be able to identify your specific needs, including do you need further consultation with the lecturer. In the case of exam, we do have students have extra time, again, based on the type of disability that they have in order to answer and complete coursework or exam. I hope that answers your question. Ziad, yeah?
Thanks, Sharifa.
Welcome, yeah.
Yeah, he's happy with that. That's good. Any more questions?
If you have any question regarding modules, regarding pathway, please do ask us a question.
We have another one. Are there any international scholarships available?
Yes, we do have our International Academic Excellence Scholarship. The deadline for this is the 30th of June, so you still have about a week left to apply. And then the allocations will be made within the weeks following. So if the student is also, so basically this award is based on academic merit. So depending on how good you are academically, an assessment is made, and then hopefully the scholarships are allocated. The scholarship award is £6,000 per year for a maximum of 3 years. So if you're coming onto any of our undergraduate business courses, you'd be getting £6,000 off per year of study. So just make sure you apply before the 30th of June in order to be considered.
Great.
Thank you, guys. Where can they find this information on our website? So this is on our scholarships page. So if you literally go into Google, type in Brunel Scholarships, it's the first link that comes up, and it's called the International Academic Excellence. All right, great. Thank you.
Bethany's asking, are the modules studied in this course up to date on the website, or have they changed? I can actually answer that. Yeah, everything is up to date. All the modules on the website are up to date. Okay, we've got a question here. Hi, I just finished my 12th grade and wanted to know about how strict Brunel is with entry requirements, as my IB score is at 29 and the requirement shows 30, so would I be rejected?
Yeah, I can answer this question. My recommendation is that you need to apply. You need to send all your qualifications, and all those kinds of borderline qualifications are going to assess case by case. We consider all circumstances, all your qualifications, and then make a decision. So yeah, I wouldn't give up at this point, even the criteria is 30. I highly suggest you to send your applications, and again, we will review your application in a timely manner and give you a decision as soon as possible.
Great. Another one here. Sorry I arrived late, but is the plan to start studying online in the first semester due to the current situation?
Sharifa, please.
Okay, the university hasn't reached any decision yet in terms of whether we're going to do online or offline, face-to-face in September. But I would like to direct you to read in the portal on blended learning or dual teaching for prospective students. Maybe Mani can guide the student, to go to the portal, because we explain there will be dual teaching, which means it could be online and offline. But we would love to come back for face-to-face teaching. Again, it will all depends on the government instruction to the university. But we have provided some guideline on dual teaching for our prospective student in the page. Maybe Mani can explain a bit where the student could find, a potential student could find that page.
Yeah, so in Google, all you need to do is type in Brunel University Coronavirus Portal, and on the top link, there is a portal on the website where we've got kind of every stay-at-home advice for students, for staff, general guidelines, and it's being updated, as and when everything else is being updated with this situation. So it's quite useful to check that if you've got any kind of more coronavirus specific questions. We've got another one here from Mushab. They wanted to know if the LBIC program is the same as the foundation year.
The short answer is yes. Normally, those students who doesn't meet our standard entry requirements, they can do this program. They can enroll in our LBIC college or program, and then if they upon successful completion of the program, they can actually join the business school in second year. So that's the foundation year, and in some cases actually could be seen as year one as well.
Great, thank you. No more questions yet. If you do have any, please keep popping them onto the chat.
Was just wondering if our participants have question for Michelle on placement. Please feel free to ask us about at the end of the second year you might be able to work, and so do ask us the question.
Yeah, I'm here.
Just in case they don't, they might have question on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have another one here. What if I don't get 3 Bs in A levels, but I'm in ERT? I'm not too sure what that means. Zaid, could you please just rewrite that question? I'm not sure if it's a typo, but I'm not sure. We have another one here. Are there any ways you recommend to get prepared for the start of the course over the summer?
Sharifa, I think, can definitely advise on this one.
So we have actually uploaded some resources. If you can go to the page under in potential students for A-level resources or post-6 form, and this can also be used by any international student. So we have actually put all the 6 module, a snapshot of 6 module, and there are some questions you can start working on and some scenarios, for example, entrepreneurship. And we have also provided some references there. So yes, you can start working over the summer, and especially for the A-level students who may not be having exam this year, they do not need to be worried about that so much, because we have give them some background to how your year 1 looks like. So please feel free to go to the page. Again, money can be to the resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we can, do you think you can put the link there to the resources, because it's for everyone actually? It'd be great.
Yeah, I can put it on the chat function.
Yeah, yeah. So as you can see, we have accounting, we have international business, we got marketing, we've got all the 6 module basically there. So please feel free to do the exercise from now on actually.
Okay, we have another question. What if I don't get freebies in A-levels, but I'm Emirati from UAE? Would I be completely ignored?
No one is ignored, of course. Again, if you have BBB, basically you are directly qualified for our program. Of course, the additional requirement for our international students is the English language requirement, as I mentioned earlier. So no one would be ignored, of course. So please do send your applications, and we will look at your applications.
Yeah.
And Zaid, sorry, just to add, Zaid, as well, in terms of the English requirements, there are other options. So I understand the IELTS test centers are closed around the world. So you would have the opportunity to do other exams. So we've started accepting the Duolingo exam, which is online based, and also at Brunel, we are conducting a Brunel's test. So every fortnight on a Friday, we have a free test that runs for all offer holders. So if you hold an offer for the program already, and you are pending the English requirement, you can sign up to our Brunel's, which is free online every fortnight on a Friday. And if you are interested in that, I can send you I'll send the link now in the chat box, and if you're interested, you can check that out.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. And again, I emphasize that we are a very diverse business school, both in terms of academic, in terms of our students, and so we welcome everyone from around the world to study business and management at Brunel Business School.
I'd like to echo my colleague, Dr. Goudarz Azar from the business school. Definitely, we are not ignoring anyone. Don't feel you're being ignored, no. Actually, we really look forward to see you, whether it's online or offline, in September. So, as my colleague mentioned, do apply in, yeah.
Okay, thank you guys. We have another one. When is the deadline for applying for the LBIC program?
I don't know if guys can mention, again, I just clarified, LBIC is a separate college from the business school. They are our partner. So my advice is that please do look at their own website. They have their, if you just type LBIC, and if you can, Manny, please send this link as well. If you just type LBIC Brunel, you go to their website and see their deadlines and all the details and information there.
Yeah, I probably
I can just
put the link here, isn't it? Because since they've got several questions on this, yeah.
I can just add very briefly, LBIC, they don't really have a deadline as such. As long as you apply with, I guess, time to start the course on time and potentially achieve your CAS statement, then they would consider your application. But we obviously do recommend that you send in your application as soon as you possibly can.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, I think that about wraps up. There doesn't seem to be any more questions, but as I said, if you do have any kind of more, admissions questions, you can always email us at admissions@brunel.ac.uk or just check the brunel.ac.uk website. I'll let you guys say goodbye. I think if anything pops up, I'll let you know, but I think that's all the questions for now.
Yeah, thanks very much for listening to this presentation. We sincerely looking forward to actually meeting you at Brunel in September. And just again, regardless of the mode of teaching, if it is online or this is on campus, face-to-face or blended, we make sure that the standard of our teaching is not compromised by no means. Okay, thanks very much for your attention.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Bye-bye, and hopefully to see you soon. Hopefully. Bye-bye.